This week on Forge20, we're going to make this sign.
3, 4.
Yeah, you know which one we're going to do. Yeah, now listen here, you doobly doo. Don't think you're not going where I tell you you're going. That's what I said. I said, you're going. $90. Now one more. Now one less. You hear me? Uh-huh. I'm not gonna claim Chinesium or anything crazy like that, but sacrifices will be made. Yeah, we had a little talk. There was an agreement. The edges are straighter. This is kind of hard to show you, but we're a little shy. The metalworker guys would probably not be impressed. And it looks like we're a little narrower down here. Gonna have to work on that. All right, so we're good. A little more banging. I think you can see 16 on the outside. Well, yeah, it's actually pretty consistent. If I can get the diameter lined up, right about 15 7/8 all the way down. So I'm happy with that. We can square it out inside a wooden frame. We're getting somewhere. All right, there you can go. You can see the box section now. The yellow one, I guess it is, orange one, whatever it is, amber, is just barely sits on both sides. So I think that'll do for that. And then, just for clarity's sake, it's actually going to be like that, with the green one cut out with the design, and the orange one inside acting as a weird reflector. We'll see how it looks. I just want to point out I am aware that I could have come in and cut that like that for the second cut. But see, there's exactly the problem, is that when the blade is up high, there's a lot more chance that it's going to be wiggling back and forth. Especially on a saw like this, which is a commercial grade, small, not well anchored. Personally, I feel like it's better to cut the dados and then just clean them up with a chisel. You have a much better chance of getting a square cut. Okay, there you go. See, now that's a problem right there. That's where it wants to dive in. So just clean it up going the other way. I'm not sure what this is. It might be red oak. I thought it was teak at first, but I don't think it's teak. All right, so there's the amber sign sitting down inside the frame. Do something with those corners. And then this. So kind of like that. Listen, if you want to learn how to do nice carpentry, go watch Paul Sellers. Just look at the gap down there. Ugh. Abso-frickin-lutely terrible. Alright, there it is, done and fitted. They're not the most beautiful dovetails in the world, but sand and paint make me the carpenter I ain't. We'll get her all fixed up. Box fits, square now. Moving right along. All glued up, clamped up. with the sign in place to make sure that it fits. I'll tell you, I sure am glad that somebody left these Bessie clamps in an apartment, because they come in handy. And that's why you're not supposed to go that way. Yeah, personally, I like to sand the inside of stuff that no one's ever going to see. That way I can always feel like I did a good job, even though no one else can see it. Somewhere in the world, a wood fairy just died. I'm sure that won't be a problem. It's green. Be fine. Let's try a little mineral spirits. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. That's gonna waste some paper towel. So don't be stingy now. Too hard. A lot of them, first of all. It's almost like they didn't want the paint to come off. Afraid to even touch the camera now. You guys are gonna get the extended shot. Memory be damned. Yeah, it's coming off, but oh boy. I don't know why they call them odorless mineral spirits. They're sure as hell not odorless. Probably ought to put that respirator back on. But why avoid the free high? Oh, it's terrible. I switched to a piece of Scotch-Brite. That and the mineral spirits really seem to do a number on it. Starting to have that distressed post-industrial look that we're going for. I mean, now everything I'm wearing smells like mineral spirits, but that's fine. That's fine. All right, I got these LED light fixtures, which I started taking apart, and figured I ought to go get the camera if I'm going to really screw something up. So I got this fitting. They're like meant to be like ganged together. You can like put them like that, but we're not going to do that. We're going to take this switch out, because how many switches could you possibly need? We've got two. It sounds like one more than I need. And it looks like, I don't know, in my world, black is ground and white is hot. Looks like they switched the hot one, but maybe I'm wrong about that, as I am about so many things electrical. I don't need that. Totally overrated. Let's get this thing out of here. What are we stuck on now? Just this cluster of... fix that. You may be wondering why I'm ripping perfectly good lights apart, and that is because they don't actually fit inside the sign. They're just a little bit too long. If you lay them down here, I'd need about another 3 inches to make the cord nice and everything. But I'm hoping if we dismount them here, put them in ourselves, we can bend some wires around and get them where we need them. Now, what's hanging that up? Yeah, nothing. Just coming right up. Yeah, that must be the board, because these are like 52 volt. So you can see there's a little board in there, and that gives us the, should be another long one. Well, you know, there's that other wire. And that just went to the switch and to the other hot, right? So one. Where's the other white? There's another wire in here, right? See, clearly we're electrical experts here. So there's 2 wires, 2 whites coming off the switch. That's the black that went to the switch. That's the white. And then this is the other one. Okay, so we know what we're doing now. Sort of. Let's power in, yeah. Power in, that's power to the other end. Green, I don't know, maybe they got it flipped around. Because it looks like if this is hot red, then black is ground. So maybe they are switching on the ground. Interesting. Let's try to bend our little LED strip here. But see, now we can mount this right in against this piece. And I can put the switches and the wires on this side, and everything will fit. So, one thing at a time. All right, a little smarter this time. I managed to get it out with the switch intact. And there's my extension leads. So it should be pretty easy to just take the ends of these and run them into the ends of this. And we'll leave the switch out on this one. And off we go. Okay. Figure there's about a 10% chance we burn the shop down. Still a little mineral spirits left on the table from yesterday. Here's what we got. We got one of the LEDs with everything's basically the wiring's intact. I just took the gang wires and ran them to the what I think are the right places on the next one. So I figure the worst case is we blow up this one, because this one's still wired basically the way it's supposed to be. You know, 60-40, we ruin everything. Let's see. The switch is off. Let's plug this in and see what we get. No sparks. Well, I got a light, except the switch is off. No, that's, well, we got something. Kind of thought the one on the left would be off and controlled by the switch. Maybe they are switched on the hot. Or maybe I'm just jumped past the switch and I ought to... I can work with it like this. So these are crimp-on butt connectors. The kind you're never supposed to use for any job. So I did one. There you go, you can see it. And the reason I'm pointing this out to you is because I just like to point out what I love whenever you get to use plumber's tools on an electrical job. It makes the Twidget so angry. It's like, doing that all wrong. That'll never work. It'll work just fine. Let's keep in mind that it's a sign and it's going to be inside all the time. And as long as they're nice and deformed, kind of like my thumb, then it's fine. Lo and behold, it turns out I was right. Look at this. So everything's wired. This is the last black gang wire. And no spark. See it down there in the dark. No spark. So that's the ground wire. And they did switch on the hot. Seems like a feller does know a thing or two. All right. I mean, maybe not. I probably am completely wrong still. But somehow. But in any event, I got 2 working light strips. They don't quite power together, but I'm fine with that. We can always... I think what we're going to do is mount the plug in the outside of the frame, and then we'll just plug her in to get her going and leave that switch on all the time. So before I mount anything, because these strips got to be mounted on the insides of this frame, of the panel, I think it's time to get to laying out and cutting the design. Enough fiddle-faddle farting around. Well, I might have to attach that ground wire to the plate at some point. Or we could just have a floating ground. Doesn't seem to hurt much. Yeah. I was working on some other... Wasn't super happy with these designs. They feel a little like there's too much negative space in here. I'm not sure. Fiddling around. So I'm going to lay that out on the plate, draw it out in marker. We'll see how we feel about it. And then at some point we got to commit and get to cutting. But we'll try and do a little planning first. Make sure we don't screw everything up in the end after all this hard work. Which, let me just show you the frame. Let's try that again here. I'll show you the frame without the blatant display of cannabis paraphernalia. So yeah, everything's dry now. The corners are all... We'll clean that up with a little sandpaper. At least there won't be light shining through, which is what I was really worried about. And yeah, like that. So a little more polishing, a little cutting and grinding, and then we'll start fitting everything together. Well, I've wire wheeled off one design already. I think that's where we're going to end up. Let's see if I can give you a little more of a... All right, I don't know if you can see that at all, but it's all scratched in. So there's no change in my mind now, especially with really, quality, well-defined places like that. It's going to be glorious. So the little flashy light means hot-cold delay. This one claims it's charging. This one just says, I'm charging, but usually both of these have a fan running when they're charging. And this one has a temperature indicator. It's not flashing, but I'll tell you what, it got below freezing in the shop last night. It's been getting cold. I think I'm going to have to take all the batteries inside, Probably all the paint and chemicals too. It's that time of year. There's a little sneak peek. Look at that. That's pretty cool, huh? Where are they? I got bolts for these holes. There's one. I took it out so that it was kind of, but it's, there it is. I got a nice old square head bolt. I don't know if you can really see that. So that'll go in that hole with a really nice high quality stainless bolt in the other hole, but you can tell by the markings on the head. And now we're just waiting for the batteries to charge up so we can get the rest of that cut out. I think that's going to look pretty good. Wait, or something's missing. All right, there you go. You're kind of getting it. It won't be leaking lighter on the side, I think. And we won't have the wires. It's hard to get the wires arranged now until they're really ready to get tacked down, because it's a funny wiring harness. So things are all looped. It's meant to be shoved down a tube. They didn't really care about wires lapping over other wires. So, yeah. One of my chargers just beeped at me. And there, see, you hear the fan? Claims it's charging now. Says it's green. Might actually be charged. Let's see. Yep, 4 bars. 4 bars. Time to work. Alright, you can see I got a piece of wood under there. These are just holes to get the saw blade in. Their location and size are so this thing is really hard to hold because of the folded edge and because of its size. So I just been holding on to it, and when I cut out the 0, I mean, I can cut pretty close to the straight lines and then just file the corners round. It comes out pretty good. And then we'll go over it again with a wire wheel to get rid of all the mark out traces. There is one place here where I over scratched the, gotta be careful not to cut that line. But I think I'm just gonna start cutting. And let's knock this bad boy out. So, as some of you are already aware, it's just a little crack. It's like here. You can see kind of the swollen little dot of a blood blister. I hit myself in the thumb with a piece of metal that got caught in the drill, and it swung around and it broke my thumb right there, like just a crack. And I think it goes this way because every time I flex my thumb like this, or I tap my thumb like that on something, like tap my thumb like that, I get little stabs of pain. And then I hit the knuckle with the angle grinder when I was polishing this plate. And now I clipped it when I was bending this little piece out, and I managed to just catch the point of one of these points, of course, right in the knuckle. So yeah, it's great. And yes, I've been whining like a little girl about it all week long. I'm just gonna apply some of the standard, God, I can't even pull on that thing, standard shop insulation. Get her around. Perfect. Now back to work, you lazy stoner. Okay, two things about this Makita, which is a great skill saw. One, it's heavy, and it don't. Why, Makita? Why? Okay, couldn't have just added a little weight, shifted a thing. See, sometimes it'll stay, but it's so, like, if you had a longer blade on there, tip over every friggin' time. And then it's got this like 2-speed thing, which is good, I guess, where it starts slow, and then it speeds up when it feels the resistance. But it's a little hard to predict when it's going to speed up, and it always wants to pick up right in the corner. Right when you want it to slow down, it's a great saw. I love it. Couldn't do this project without it. But sorry about that. Pain makes me irritable. Little file work. All right, on to the small letters. I happen to know there's a nasty rumor going around that a fella might be accident prone, and that some people are just watching, waiting to see him hurt himself. And that's, just because I'm sitting here with my fingers underneath the plate and the blade going through the plate does not mean you should be waiting for me to cut a finger off. That's not what this series is going to be about. So just calm your horses. See, got them all. Still got them. Keeping them. And that's without filing. Got a little excited and started on the E before I showed you the G. Almost done. There it is. It says Forge 20, right? Man, I've been terrified the whole time that something was going to break or I was going to screw something up. These ones, super thin. Whole time. Should have done the little letters first. But I'm actually glad I did the big ones because I got practiced with the jigsaw. And by the time I was done doing the E, it was going fast, and which is good in the little tight areas. So just time to file it and clean it up, and then we'll be ready to install it. Love these tripods. Love them. This method is almost certainly not going to be approved by the underwriter's laboratory. Ooh, that's hot. Those two little guys mounted in there. And that should pretty much... See, this thing just falls over. These legs are terrible. What you get for $19.95. Clean up all my hot food trails. Ooh, those lights are blue. Let's get all this sort of tucked down in here. We'll get some cable ties and sort of cable tie it all into a sort of non-cluster. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, I think we're basically all wired up. I think I'm gonna hardwire this connector so it doesn't pull out inside the thing there. But there's the wires all bundled. It's sort of neat looking. So let's get the back plate on, which I need to drill a hole so that this wire passes through it. And make that connection, put the plate on, and I think we're done. Wow. So you can see we got everything tucked into the corner with a little wire tie down. So, all done. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty boss. Should I put the bolts in or leave it? Leave it. I kind of like it. Anything that makes the light shine through. Wow, it's pretty cool, huh? And I'll just show you the back. Just put that plate on with some sheet metal screws. My non-underwriter laboratories authorized wire coming out through a piece of aluminum. Running out of battery. End of a long day. Managed not to hurt myself. See, still have all the fingers on that hand. All the fingers on that hand. It's all good. It's all good. There it is. In the place of honor. We'll have to figure out something to do with all the hammers. But there it is. Ooh. Appropriate for Halloween. Looks great. It looks even redder than it does on camera. All right. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Have a good week. Whew. And see, now it looks yellow. That's great.
Forge 20. Da-da-da!